Hi guys, welcome back to a new Asphalt 9 video. I really wanted to make this video a couple days ago, but I went through surgery, so I wasn't capable of doing any kind of videos during the last 2 days. And there is a chance that my voice may sound a bit different for the next week, but I will be honest, it's boring to rest while I'm recovering without doing anything, so here I am about to share my thoughts about the beginning of this new update with you all guys. We got a new special event, the chance to test a new cars, and the implementation of the overclock, so let's dive into it. Alright, so first of all, let me begin with the performance of the new cars, since I already made a video about the overclock and I will talk about it later. In the new overclock showcase time limited event, we can basically get 30 overclock chips, but we can also try all the new cars from this season completely maxed out, as well as with their respective overclock boost already applied, so we can check how good the new Grand Prix car, the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA M, is, as well as the upcoming special hand car, which is the ATS Automobili GT, the Legends Pass car, of course, the Lamborghini STO, and at last but not least, the main dish of this season, which is the W Motors Lykan Neon Edition. Starting with this one, I got the chance to test it with and without the overclock boost, and to me, in my honest opinion, seems like a quite mid car. Why? Well, the acceleration is not as good as you could expect from a car that goes at around 450 and 460 km per hour, depending if you are using it with or without overclock. And then we have a handling that is not something surprising really, and a nitro efficiency that, despite it's not really bad, it feels slightly worse than the 65 points depicted on this car stats sheet. Overall, I will not say that this car is massively overranked because it kinda matches with the stats it has, but honestly it's not as good as other cars around this rank, as it's the case of the Rimac Nevera, the Asphalt Owl, or the Koenigsegg Jesko. Funnily enough, all of the cars mentioned before are available to overclock, despite not being directly related with the season theme at all, but I guess it's normal since this is the first season where the overclock has been implemented, so it's normal I guess. Focusing a bit more into this Lykan Neon Edition performance, I must say that this car feels slightly like the normal Lykan, just that maybe a bit more stable, but that's pretty much it. The drift radius is definitely wider than the normal version, but the Neon Edition feels as floaty as the normal one, so it's not a boring car to drive, it's just kinda tricky, One way or another, I will have to unlock it in order to add it to my collection, since no one knows when it may be required in the future, as we can see looking at this car special event requirements. At the Lykan Neon Edition special event, we can see some cars which have been rarely required in any special event before, as it's the case of the Apollo Evo, the Nobel M600 and the Salene S7, and at last but not least the Tushek TS900 Racer Pro, a car which it's been a while since I saw for the first time, so I guess it's my chance to finally get it. I completely ignored the Salim back when it was released, since I genuinely consider it was, quite useless, but I ended up unlocking it once its key appeared on some special offers a few months ago, so it's fine in that case. Overall, it's not a really harsh special event for me, but for the average player I can safely say that it's straight up not worth it, because the special event car is nothing surprising, not close to being a king, and the requirements are not really useful additions for your garage, excepting maybe the Tushek and the Apollo Evo, which are quite funny for classic, but that's it, I gotta say. The event, in case you are wondering, gives like 80 blueprints and 15 epic import parts for the Lykan Neon Edition, as well as an okayish amount of tokens. This is, of course, considering that you have all the required cards and the Neon Edition included completely maxed out. The requirements are quite hard and the payback is not really as good as the total investment you will need, so I will recommend to you all that if you are saving up tokens, try to get as many as you can from this event based on your garage, but without spending a single token on them, because the Neon Edition may look insanely nice, but it's not as good as other cars, so in a nutshell, it's not a worthy car to go for. I'm aware that I didn't mention the fact that it's necessary to completely max out the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA in order to meet all the requirements from this special event, by the way, but if you are not planning to go for the Lykan Neon Edition, something which I kinda recommend to do, I guess that the Giulia won't be the worst of the problems to deal with during this season. But now, it's time to have a look at all the other cars this season has to offer, and I will start with the ATS Automobili GT. In order to get the key from this car, you will have to literally gold max it from scratch through its special hand, since it's the first new car specifically added through this kind of special event, which basically consists in a massive car hand where you have to get even all the epic import parts so you can finally get the key from this car, which, let's remember, will cost 42 million credits to upgrade, no more and no less. Having a look at this car performance, it's just bad. Bad top speed for its class and rank, bad handling, weak nitro efficiency, and at last but not least, not the worst acceleration, which definitely doesn't help to make this car any better overall. To make things even worse, just in order to play this special hand, you will have to own the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento and the Lamborghini SC20, which I guess most of the community don't own, so unless there is some kind of free try for these cars, this ATS Automobili GT special hand is pretty much doomed from the beginning. And I will be honest, I absolutely hate to grind this game, so you won't see me grinding any stage of this car special hand except in the last one in order to get, the epic import parts, so I will max it with offers and then just do what it takes to gold it. Also, in order to add the cherry on top of this car, the drift radius is straight up bad. Like, this Automobili GT doesn't feel good to drive at all. It's pretty much a boring and extremely expensive car to obtain. Anyways, let's move to the next one, the Lamborghini STO, which is basically the big brother of the D-Class Super Trofeo Evo. It's nothing but a low C-Class car, as many Legends Pass cars already are, which, despite having a quite nice acceleration, lacks of a proper drift radius, which pretty much destroys any chance this car could have had to be somewhat noticeable within this class. Nothing special, but that's what you get if you buy the Legends Pass, so it is what it is. At last on this list we have the Alfa Romeo Giulia, which, out of all the cars I have mentioned, is the easiest one to obtain for free-to-play players. This car is quite decent, with a top speed quite similar to the Mazda 4i, and a bit better nitro efficiency, so it will be a nice car for collection and maybe, multiplayer in very low leagues, but that's it. Nothing outstanding, just another D-Class car. I would really like to hype up this season, but let's get real, guys. This season has nothing really surprising when it comes to cars or special events. I will just try to go for as many cars as possible in order to have content for you all guys in the future, but that's it. There is nothing I would recommend you all to do during this season except saving up your tokens and try to focus on the car hunts and the Giulia Grand Prix. And no guys, don't worry, I didn't forget about the Overclock. The Overclock has finally been introduced into the game, and I have seen a lot of backlash towards Gameloft regarding this feature, which is okay since most of the times they ask the community for opinions, so that's what they are getting basically. On my previous video I told you all that I personally didn't think that the Overclock was something completely bad, and now that I could see the feature implemented in game, I have to admit that I expected something way worse. The boost that the Overclock gives to each car is quite related to how big is the difference between the stock and max stats of each car, so that's why I'm seeing huge improvements regarding handling and nitro in many cars, while I also see lower top speed improvements in most of the cases. Even the Koenigsegg Jesko, which is among the overclockable cars in this season, is basically 2 km/h faster with overclock, and that's it basically. But the real problem comes with the overclock chips availability, because the overclock showcase events only gives like 30 chips or so for an entire season, and that's only enough to boost a S-Class car, for example, for a bit over 2 days, and that's it. So I fully understand why a part of the community is angry regarding this. However, I must admit that I thought that Gameloft would release the chips at a way higher price in the store, and they ended up releasing them for way cheaper than I expected. You can get like 400 chips for like $3, but in all honesty, the best thing you could purchase regarding this is the big Overclock Pass that gives you a boost in all the cars available during the season for 28 days, which is quite OP for the price it offers, to be honest. Does it erase the fact that the feature itself is kinda paywall? Well, not really. But as I told you, it's a business trying to make profit, so it is what it is. It's true that $8 for the Overclock Pass is not a gift, but is quite reasonable considering how many cars you can use fully overclock for an entire month. I'm sure that from all the community opinions they are getting, Gameloft will increase the availability of the Overclock chips for the upcoming season and updates, but right now, this is what we have. We can only wait until they do the proper adjustments. One way or another, now is your turn, guys. What do you think about this season beginning? And most importantly, which are your plans for this season? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure to drop your massive like, and I will see you really soon if my health allows me to do so with much more Asphalt 9 content. Goodbye, guys.